And I was like freaking out because like we couldn't get back on our flight. It's
Yeah.
midnight, like it was almost midnight. And I go up to the lady at the desk because I thought Marco was with the Uber still. And I was like, you need to get me back on this flight. If you don't, I think I'm going to have to get a divorce. And then she was like, I turned around and Marco was standing right there. And he was like, I was like,
Flying Solo with Brittany Ross.
Hi guys, welcome to today's episode of Full Out Flying Solo. I thought I'd talk about my honeymoon trip that I took with Marco. So Marco and I went to Iceland on our honeymoon, but it was the second part of our honeymoon. So a honeymoon is an amazing time. So like if you're going on a honeymoon, I'm very jealous, but we maybe made ours like a little too long, because we got married where Marco's from in Switzerland, which was incredible. I think we hit it just like the right time of life. We asked our friends in LA, would this be too insane if we got married in Switzerland, or would it be easier if we did it here? And everybody wanted us to do it there, but all of Marco's friends in Switzerland wanted us to do it here. So it was like before anyone had kids. It was like before COVID. Everyone wanted like a trip. So we got married in Switzerland. And then we'd already been in Europe for a bit, like doing the wedding. And then we went to Italy, and Marco grew up in Europe, and we get to Italy, and his mom is Italian, so he spent all of his summers in Italy. Geneva's like a few hours from Italy, so he was in Italy a lot, but I'd never really seen Marco like this in Italy. We flew into Naples. We rented this like stick shift Fiat, and everyone in Naples drives like a maniac, and all of a sudden we're on the freeway, and Marco is driving the stick shift Fiat like a maniac, like everybody in Naples. And I just got married the day before, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, how do you know how to drive like this? This is so crazy. And he's like, I basically learned how to drive here. And I was like, what? I felt like I married like an international spy or something. It was like I was like, who did I just marry? I've never seen this side of you. So we drive, and our honeymoon was so nice. We went to Positano, and it was so fun, and we were in Italy, and it was like we went to Venice for a few days, and then we decided, because I like to do adventurous outdoors stuff, we decided we'd do this like relaxing, beautiful vacation part, and then on the way home from our honeymoon, we would stop in Iceland for like 6 days and rent a camper van. And I was like so excited about this plan. Meanwhile, we've just been like living at like the beach and like in like a really fancy, nice way. And then we get to Iceland, and for my part of the honeymoon, and it is pouring, raining, freezing. And we go to get our camper van that we rented. And they bring us in this like little shitty office building with like a shitty like dark room with shitty coffee, and they're like, you have to watch this video about how to work the camper van before you can take it. And I'm really bad at plugs, light switches, doors, like anything that involves doing something like tactile. I'm gonna turn it the wrong way. I'm gonna get like frustrated. It's kind of like my kryptonite. And we go and watch this video, and they're like, okay, so to open the windows, you turn this 3 times, and then you turn that 17 times, and then you twist this up and you flip this up, and if you mess it up, it's $10,000. And then I kept saying everything like that. And if you mess it up, it's $10,000. And I'm starting to like have a panic attack in this dark room with this shitty coffee. And it's like then talking about how you have to drain your own sewage from the camper van, which like I like kind of knew that would be a thing, but I didn't like think that we'd have to. I don't know what I was thinking, and I start being like, I don't think I can do that. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. And like I'm used to just like tent camping. And Marco's like, do you not want it? Like, should we cancel it? And I was like, no, we can't cancel it. Like, we're here, we're in Iceland, we said we're doing this. And like it just was like the starkest contrast from like Positano to Iceland in the pouring rain, and we didn't have any gear for the rain, so we had to stop at this grocery store and buy like raincoats and rain gear. And then we like and Marco's like, I'll drain the sewage, don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay, this is our honeymoon. And then we just had like the most like lavish, like lush thing that we got thrown into this. And we're driving and it's pouring rain the first day, and so Iceland is all about like driving and seeing the scenery and how beautiful it is, but since it's pouring you can't see anything. So we're driving just like in the rain to like we have no idea where we are, and we're like laughing because it's so like bad, at this point. And basically Iceland is just dry. Then the rain cleared up and it ended up being like really pretty. But Iceland is just driving from like one waterfall to the next waterfall to the next waterfall to look at waterfalls. Um, but we did stay in the camper van for like 4 or 5 nights. And we never bought a meal in Iceland. We cooked all of our food in the camper van. It ended up being like so funny and fun, but I also was crying a few times. Like, I think I'm ready to go home. I think I'm over this. But like, when you're crying, but you're also like laughing at yourself for crying about the fact that you're crying. Um, I don't even know what I just said. I don't think that makes sense, but I was laughing at myself. That's how I felt in the camper van. And a few of my friends were like messaging Marco on Instagram being like, looks like Brittany needs to go home. Looks like she's ready to go home. And like, we did go and like, we found some hot springs. Also, my old improv teacher from UCB was also on this Iceland trip because we follow each other on Instagram, and he's friends with a bunch of my friends from college, but like I know him more as like he was my improv teacher, and he was a day ahead of us on the trip because there's this big circle loop that everyone does, and we didn't plan anything for this trip. We just planned our wedding, and then we planned like the other part, and we're like, we'll just get to Iceland and get in this camper van and like go. And so we realized we needed a plan. So we just started like basically stalking this guy that was one day ahead of us. And I started messaging him to be like, we don't know what we're doing. We're on our honeymoon. Can you just tell us like where we should stop that you liked today? So he was just giving us a day by day itinerary of where to go. And yeah, it like we did do some really fun stuff. Like it was a really fun trip. It probably was not a trip that we needed to tack on to the end of our wedding honeymoon because we both felt really fulfilled and happy from our experience. But looking back, I guess, the last night we went and stayed at a really nice hotel at the Blue Lagoon, and I think I cried when we got there because I was so happy to be in a hotel. And Marco's like, you're the one who wanted to camp and do all of this. But it was really fun. It did end up being like we laughed so much, and it was like a really, I guess it like brought us back to reality after like our wedding honeymoon situation that felt just like, oh, this is so magical and it will never happen again. Now you're in Iceland in the rain in a camper van, draining your own sewage. You're married now. So yeah, that was our honeymoon. Yeah, honeymoon survivor style. Yeah. Also, I remember I told one of my friends, my friend Courtney, who set us up, who set me and Marco up, I remember she started messaging me because she saw I posted some videos of like Marco driving the camper van, and she's like, wait, what? I thought you guys had like a driver and somebody was driving you guys around Iceland. She thought we were like going on some like lavish trip with a driver driving us. I was like, no, we rented a van and we're like driving it ourselves around Iceland. So I highly recommend, maybe not after Positano, maybe in reverse. But yeah, it was pretty full out. All right, let's read some of you guys' full out stories.
The first one is from Kiki. Hi, Brittany. I used to do gymnastics competitively, so I love all the sports content. It is truly a different lifestyle. I had a full out panic this week at the airport. You know how we all check that our gate exists first thing? Like before I do anything else at the airport, I have to make sure that my gate exists. Anyway, I did my normal routine, but then right at boarding time, I realized I made sure the wrong gate existed and was on the other side of the airport. This was a big airport, and it took me 20 minutes to get to the right gate. Got my steps in at least.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she's positive. She
Love
sounds
how we all
nice.
check that our gate exists. So, like, does she mean like we go to our gate and just like make sure it's there and we're at the right one?
Yeah, I've seen this on TikTok, like people being like in like the relatable content category of like, yeah, why do we all like just have to like see the gate before we can like go to the bathroom and
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah,
You just have
go
to like
get food.
see and make sure that it hasn't like boarded and it's there and your flight's
yeah.
at the right one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, my mom and I've traveled a lot this month, but my mom and I just went on a trip together and we both were like, okay, let's go make sure the gate's there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel like my sister used to like was notorious for just going to the wrong airport, and it happened multiple times. And in Houston there's 2 airports and in Chicago there's 2 airports, and they're like we lived in both places. And I think one time she dropped me off, like she was driving me to the airport and she drove me to the wrong, or I drove her to the wrong one because she told me where to go. I don't remember, but I just remember like speeding to the other airport
Oh my
so that she
gosh.
would make it. And it was like a like kind of like,
Good
oh,
sister.
she went to the wrong airport again, kind of a thing. So I feel like it's like maybe also check that your airport exists. What airport you're leaving
she
from?
needs to take the next step. That's funny. I did the episode of Austin and Ally I did forever ago was like the whole premise of the episode was that they kept going to the wrong airport. Like
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
the entire episode premise.
That's so funny.
Was like the wrong airport, and then yeah, anyway, that was like really funny. But I like remember I was so confused about that. I was so young. I was like there's like multiple, like I was at that, like, I was
yeah,
that
like how
young.
could you go to the wrong?
Yeah.
That's so funny. I've started flying out of Burbank recently because it's more convenient, and I still now sometimes am like, oh my gosh, wait, was I leaving from Burbank if I'm on the way to LAX? I'll have like a panic now that
Yeah.
I'm like don't remember which airport I'm going to the wrong one.
No, if it's within like $100 price range, I'll always opt for Burbank.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then you don't want to be at LAX and find out you're supposed to be at Burbank.
No.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, one time Marco and I were going to somebody's wedding in Mexico, and it was the night I found out. Have I talked about this on here? I don't think so.
No.
The day before I found out I was pregnant with Penelope, and I was kind of like raging psycho at this point, like mad
Okay.
at Marco. Even though we were like definitely trying to have a kid, I just
Okay.
was like kind of like so mad about everything.
Yeah.
And we were going to Mexico, and I was like a day pregnant, and we're leaving on a midnight flight to Mexico, and we're pulling into LAX. There's so much traffic, and they had like demolished a bridge at some point, so everyone was
Okay.
like stuck in this like thing, and we were going to be late. So Marco went to check us in on his phone,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in the Uber, and he starts going, oh shit, and I was like, what? And he's like, I think I just changed our flight. And they had given him the pop-up that said like, would you like to change your flight to, it was like tomorrow, but it was the exact same flight time. So he just clicked it thinking it was like, oh, check into this.
Oh, you probably raged so hard.
Oh my God. Then I was on the phone. We couldn't get through to anybody. And I was like, I wanted the Uber just to drop us off still at the
Yeah.
thing. So I was like, I'm going to go talk to them. And I was like freaking out because like we couldn't get back on our flight. It's midnight,
Yeah.
like it was almost midnight. And I go up to the lady at the desk because I thought Marco was with the Uber still. And I was like, you need to get me back on this flight. If you don't, I think I'm going to have to get a divorce. And then she was like, I turned around and Marco was standing right there. And he was like, I was like, sorry. And like, we didn't get back on the flight. We had to go home. We left at like 9 a.m. the next day.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
like airport night.
But they tricked us with that check-in
No,
thing.
that's such a trick.
It's
That's such
such a
a trick.
trick.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor
Ugh.
Marco. That was a rough couple days.
Yeah, traveling drama this is why I'm such a solo traveler. I like love traveling alone. It is just like so stressful. Like my mom and I just travel together, and my mom and I get along better than like I get along with anyone else. But even like just taking 2 flights with her, like 2 travel days with her, I was even just like, oh my god, you're in my way, I like have my routine and you're messing with my routine. So yeah. Okay, next one's from Ned. My brother and I were reminiscing on our childhood and all the ways we went full out, whether it was deception, pranks, adventures. Anyway, one of our favorite things to do when we were younger was to use the fly swatters my mom would buy to roughhouse, and we easily broke a dozen of them. she would get so mad. So she bought her 13th fly swatter and we broke it, of course. But this time I decided to crazy glue it back together. So when my dad grabbed it at dinner that night to actually swat a fly, it broke instantly and my mom went crazy on him.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny. That's
nice.
funny.
Set up your dad. Set up your dad with the fly swatter. And I feel like they need an electric fly swatter at that house. Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy glue, when Benjamin was born, my sister was like, I'll take Penelope somewhere because like just for like the afternoon to hang out with her son so that like you guys can have some time alone with Benjamin. He was like maybe 6 days old or something. And I was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
So she took her to the mall and she let her and my nephew pick out like something they wanted to buy. And Penelope came home for dinner and she had long Hello Kitty nails on that she's like, oh, these are what I got at the mall with my sister. And I was like, okay. And I thought they were like stickers.
Okay.
And then she's eating dinner and she's like, they're kind of bugging me. I want to take them off. And so she's like, here's the instructions to take them off. Chelsea gave them to her. And so I go to read them and I'm like, these nails are crazy glued on. They used crazy glue to glue long Hello Kitty acrylic nails onto a 4-year-old at this time. She was 4.5. And Benjamin's 6 days old and it's supposed to be like to take something off of our plate. And now we're like, Penelope's like, they're hurting me. And like, it's like 8 p.m. and we're calling all these nail salons because it says just to soak them in water. I'm like, yeah, right. We're doing it. I'm like, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
We're calling all these nail salons and Marco's like, so, my 4-year-old daughter has some nails on that we need to get off. Are you guys still? They're like, who would put nails on a 4-year-old? And he's like, I know, but we need to get them off. I'm like, well, we're closed. Like nail salons are all closed.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
close early.
We couldn't find one. Marco, I had to send him to the store to get acetone and foil. And we're sitting on the floor. Like I'm trying to like clip them off, like soak Penelope's nails, clip them off. We like ended up just cutting them really short so that she could at least get them off. And we got a few of them popped off. And then like it took us like hours. And in the end, at first I was like so mad and like, why would you ever think to do this? Which like still like, why would you crazy glue now? But it was at a kid's store. Like she has boys.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I feel like it ended up being a really nice bonding moment for me, Marco, and Penelope because we ended up just like sitting on the floor trying to get these nails off of her for 2 hours and like laughing kind of. And I think she needed that because Benjamin was so like new in here.
Yeah.
So it like brought us back together. The fact that Penelope had long fake nails on at 4 years old. But just I'll never forget Marco on the phone with the nail salon guy. And he's like, I need to get these nails off my 4-year-old daughter. So, anyways, crazy glue really sticks except on fly swatters.
Has she ever wanted to put acrylics back on?
No, she doesn't.
Okay, I feel like that would scare her.
That also like traumatized her from acrylics. Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be good.
So
Then
that's
she
good.
won't beg for that.
It all worked
now.
out well.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's all our stories.
Yeah, thanks for sending your stories. Keep DMing them to us at Full Out Pod. Bye.